So the first card you have for your past is the Emperor. So yes, the Emperor is very determined, very strong. He gets things done, all of that kind of thing. He can be angry sometimes. I'm seeing a conflict, and I'm seeing you trying to deal with this conflict, and I'm seeing that you didn't want to be too involved in this conflict, but you're kind of... Someone was trying to force you into this conflict or trying to make you take sides, and you really didn't want to take sides. That's what I'm seeing. It was like you're almost expected to take these sides. There was some kind of battle going on between people. Obviously not a literal battle. You didn't have knights in shining armor kind of battling each other outside your house or anything like that. But I am seeing there was a battle. There were two sides, and it started off as something small, and it really just escalated into something ridiculous. So you were thinking, I don't want to be involved in this drama. I want to keep out of this. And you were determined to keep out of this. You just didn't want to be a part of this, but you also had to be a part of this in some way. You had to kind of talk to people about this. You had to, but what you were doing when you were talking to them was you were saying, you know, let's relax, don't be so, things like that, you know, don't be so kind of uptight about this. It really isn't that bad. Try and just see the other person's point of view. Don't be so upset about it. And you're also saying things like, I am not going to get involved with this, because someone was really trying to get you involved, really trying, but you were determined not to. So every time you heard this gossip or drama or any talk about this, you just didn't want to get involved. You were very determined not to. This might be about family. I am seeing family, and I'm seeing some kind of expectations or rules or something like that, because the Emperor is kind of about set rules and regulations and following that kind of thing and being very strict with himself. So there might have been some kind of family rules or expectations. I'm actually seeing there's an event around this. So it might be that an event was being planned, a family event or something like that, and there was kind of a disagreement about that, or there could have been some kind of disagreement that happened at an event, if that makes sense. There's some argument about rules and someone not following someone's expectations, and then it turned into some kind of big argument, and people were trying to get you on side and you were not having any part of it. That's what I'm seeing. So the next card you have for your past is Strength. So yes, you were trying to be diplomatic. You were trying to be diplomatic with these people. You certainly were very determined not to be involved, and you were certainly determined not to kind of fuel this anymore. But you were trying to do it in a certain way. You didn't want people to turn on you either. They'd already turned on each other, so you didn't want them to start turning on you. But you were still determined. You weren't getting involved. You weren't taking sides. That's what I'm seeing. The other thing I'm seeing in this card is that you might have been wanting to have a conversation with someone. I'm seeing you almost itching to have a conversation with someone, actually, but I'm seeing you kind of stopping yourself, taming yourself from having that conversation. These were your instincts I'm seeing stopping you, but also this was your kind of insight into what was going on with this other person. I am seeing some love around this, so it might have been someone you were involved with, in a relationship with, or it might have been someone who you were kind of thinking about a relationship. It was some kind of love situation with these beautiful red roses on this card. But I'm seeing, you had this, you were thinking, I really need to talk to this person. This is really bothering me. This is really bugging me. I need to speak to them. But I know I can't speak to them now because they're so stressed. They've got other things going on around them. They're really stressed. They're really kind of grumpy about whatever it is. And if I talk to them now, it's just going to backfire. They're not going to listen to what I have to say. They're just going to say, oh, another thing I have to do, another person I have to talk to, another person who wants me to do something, another thing on top of everything else. And so it's not going to make them want to listen to you. Or it wasn't. This is in the past. You knew that, and you do have an instinctive way of knowing how people are going to react to things. So you know how to do the right thing at the right time around people. Maybe not around other things, but definitely around people. You know how to deal with people. You know how to act around people. You know how to really connect with people. So you knew this was the wrong time. You knew if you spoke to them, this would have backfired at this time. So you're waiting. You were itching to talk to them, but you had to wait. That's what I'm seeing. So the last card you have for your past is the Queen of Swords. So yes, you really, really wanted to talk to this person, but you had to hold yourself back, partly from stopping, partly to stop them from overreacting or getting angry for no reason. They were very stressed, I'm seeing, but also to protect yourself in a way. You're protecting yourself with the Queen of Swords. So it wasn't like you had to, it wasn't as if they were going to attack you, but it was like you knew that if you had this conversation again, it would have backfired on you. They could have been upset and angry. They wouldn't have listened to you, and they might have even been upset with you, and might have even had not ever wanted to listen to you again or something like that. So you're protecting yourself from that happening. You're putting your sword up in front of yourself and saying, I'm not going to have this conversation now because I know it will not be the right thing for me. It will not benefit me. So I'm guarding against that happening. That's what I'm seeing with this card. So the first card you have for your present is the Page of Swords. So yes, you're usually really, really on top of things, and especially when it comes to connecting with people, you're always very good with connecting with people. I'm seeing this over and over again, and I see this in your readings all the time. But you might be having a little bit of an out of control feeling at this time, especially because what you really want to do is contact this person, but you can't do that. You can't do that. So from the outside, you looked as if you're in control, but from the inside your heart, inside your emotions, you felt a little bit like, oh, I'm dying to contact them. I just want to talk to them. But I know I can't do that. I know I can't do that. That's what I'm getting in this all the time, over and over again. Now, this was quite an important conversation, or it is quite an important conversation that you're thinking about having. And I think you might be over stressing about this inside your own mind. You might be thinking to yourself, oh, this is make or break this conversation. Once I have this conversation, either I'm going to be with them, or I'm going to break up with them, or they won't like me anymore, or it's going to be a disaster. It's either going to be this, up in this extreme, or it's going to be the other extreme. Now, it doesn't have to be like that, but that's how you are thinking at this time. You might have been over-stressing this in the kind of, when you're anticipating having this conversation, over-worrying about it, thinking I'm going to have to fight my corner, and I'm really worried. I don't want to do that. They might hate me, and then I might be angry with them, and oh, it's going to, you might be all of this kind of worrying. So I'm seeing, there's no reason to have this kind of worry, but I can see why you're very anxious, because this is around something that they're doing or something that they're not doing, and you're kind of a little bit stressed about how you're going to tell them about that. What I'm seeing you should do is, instead of worrying about this and overly stressing about it, first of all, be prepared. First of all, don't have this conversation until you're actually ready for it. What's the word? Emotionally. I don't know why I can't think of the word emotionally. I just had a blank. So yeah, be ready emotionally, be ready inside your heart, be stable emotionally, be ready, be prepared, make sure that you have, don't think you're going to look silly if you have things written down. You might want to have talking points and things like that written down before you actually speak to this person. You're not going to look silly if you do that. You don't want things to go off track. You don't want things to kind of be, escalate into something else or go into another conversation. You want to make sure you have everything covered in this. So do that. Prepare practically, prepare mentally, prepare emotionally. Make sure you have everything ready before you do this, and then you'll know when it's the right time. Your preparation is going to stop you from being as anxious. That's what I'm seeing. The next card you have for your present is the Magician. This is a beautiful card. This is one of my favorite cards. So yes, there is a lot of anxiety hanging around you, around this conversation. But I think you know that, you're doing the right thing and waiting. You're quite sure of yourself around that, because the magician's quite sure of himself. He's confident. He knows what he's doing. So you know that you have to wait, and you know that if you do this and if you prepare, the right thing is going to come out at the right time. You're going to be able to kind of tackle this properly. I'm getting confused, because I am seeing that there's some kind of a lack of communication around them. And I am seeing some bad communication around them as well. I'm seeing some bad communication, but it's quite subtle. That's what I'm seeing. So maybe that's why you're finding it hard to think about how you're going to express that to that person. If something's quite subtle, if someone's doing something that's quite subtle, you can't pinpoint it. You can't say, oh, you're doing that, you're saying that, you're saying that, because then they can come out and they can say, well, I didn't really mean that, I wasn't doing that, I was just doing that. It's that kind of thing. Now, I don't think they're doing that. I don't think this is a sneaky person. I just think that they might be unaware of some things, and these things are bothering you, and you just really need to have this conversation with them. You need to point these things out, and I think you're going to find the perfect time to have this talk with this person. And I'm seeing, this is going to be positive. That's what I'm seeing with the magician, and yeah, again, I'm seeing, don't be tempted to jump in and have this when you're not ready. Prepare like the magician, have everything out in front of you like he has on this table, and get your confidence up, get your strength up, and get your emotions in a stable place as well. Similar thing I'm seeing here in the magician. Sorry if I'm repeating myself. The last card you have for your present is the Ace of Wands. So this is fantastic. You have the magician and you have the Ace of Wands. So I'm seeing with these two cards together as well, there's a lot of creative energy, around you. I'm actually seeing that you might have been working on something creative for a long time, a project, something that's very dear to your heart. I've seen this in your readings a few times, and I'm seeing that you might have actually hit a roadblock with this. Now, this roadblock isn't around the creative process, because I think you're going very well in that, and you still are. You're very, very good at that. You're very talented in whatever that is. I'm seeing this as probably around something technical or a rule or something that's kind of outside of what you're doing. I'm seeing you had this roadblock, and then what happened was you're getting over that now at this time. You're starting to spring back into action with this project. That's what I'm seeing. You're springing back into action, and things are starting to speed up, starting to pick up now with this again. And this is positive. This is heading in a positive direction. I'm also seeing that it might be you that has to initiate this conversation with this person. I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think they realize how they're coming across or what they're doing with this communication issue. And I think it's you. You're the one with the problem with this. They're doing the wrong thing, or they're doing something that's bothering you, but you have a problem with it. They might not have as much of a problem with it. So I'm seeing this is probably you that's going to have to start this conversation. The Ace of Wands is about action. It's you that's going to have to take the action. That's what I'm seeing. So the first card you have for your future is the Nine of Swords. Yes. Stress. I know I keep on talking about this conversation and this love situation and everything like that you're stressed about. This is what I keep on seeing. I keep on seeing this. This is a big thing for you. This is an important thing for you. And that's why I keep on seeing it. So, yeah, obviously this is the ultimate stress card. This card is stress. Look at this poor woman. So you might be, you might even be waking up in the night thinking about having this conversation. And again, I was seeing in the Page of Swords that you were thinking, this is going to be make or break. This is terrible. When I have this conversation, they're either going to love me or hate me. It's going to go one way or the other way. That's what I'm seeing. But what I'm actually seeing is you're overthinking, you're over worrying. This is not going to be as bad as you're imagining. Obviously, this isn't going to be an easy conversation. It's going to be quite difficult. But I'm seeing in this, there's going to be some new information that comes out. This is going to come to light when you have this conversation. I'm seeing that everything is going to be completely different. You're going to see everything in a completely new light about this person, about everything they've done, about what they've said. And it's really going to change your perceptions, not only of this person, but of a lot of things they've done and said. I'm just getting this, oh, I see now, I see what's been happening. That's the feeling I'm getting around this card, a complete turnaround. You're having a conversation, you're going to be stressed about it, but when you do have this conversation, and you're going to be prepared, they're going to come out with something that's going to make you say, oh, now I see. Right, now I know why. That's what I'm seeing in that. The next card you have for your future is Temperance. So yes, there are a lot of things going on in this card. I'm seeing you're going to be changing, you're going to be transforming. It's going to be fantastic for you. This is this, oh wow, moment in this card, with this change, with this kind of thing that's going to come out, and then that's going to transform everything. That's what I'm seeing. This card can be about alchemy, turning bad into good, blending elements and making them into something positive. So yes, I'm seeing that when you finally do come together with this person, you have this conversation, whatever comes out of this is probably going to end up being very positive. It's going to be a surprise. It's going to be a shock. But then it's going to be positive. Once you've gotten over the surprise of this and you've realized what's going on, it's going to be like, oh wow, well that changes everything. That looks really positive. That's what I'm seeing. That's what's going to come out of this. So yeah, this is to do with your way of, I think this is also to do with the timing. I think that you are going to do this planning, and you are going to get this timing properly happening when you do have this conversation. And partly the reason for them opening up is because you know how to do this. You have a way with people. That's part of it. But, it's not the sole reason, but it's part of the reason. But again, something is going to come to light. Something's coming to light. And I'm seeing this person revealing something that's going to transform. It's going to change everything. Yeah, this card is about transformation. Huge transformation. That's what I'm seeing. The last card you have for your future is the Queen of Wands. So again, transformation into something positive. This card is all about positivity. It's about moving forward. It's about, wands are about doing things quickly. And I'm looking at the beautiful sunflowers in this card. Now, sunflowers usually grow toward the sun. They face toward the sun. They face toward the most positive thing. These sunflowers in this card, or this sunflower in this card that this beautiful queen's holding, is facing you. It's facing you. It's growing toward you. The positivity is going to be coming to you. It's a positive situation. It's very beautiful. It's going to change the whole dynamic of your relationship with this person for the good. And I am seeing you coming together and a lot of positivity happening for you after this conversation. After you get over the initial shock, though, there is going to be a shocking revelation, but it is going to be positive. Don't worry. Don't worry. Positivity, that's what I'm seeing mostly in this card and in your future. And you really were not expecting this. You're so worried, so worried, so worried. And then it's going to turn into something that is positive.